Hello and welcome back to some more AOR highlights. Today we're in Austria after the last one I uploaded was Azerbaijan's with France in between where I got P3, so that's decent. Yeah, I thought I'd make highlights of Austria because it was a bit more exciting. As you can see, it's raining in the qualifying, so I don't know if I've done much running in the wet actually on this game at all, really, in qualifying especially. So I was just trying to find my feet, I say, as the start of the session. Let's see, constantly improving. I'm getting like 2 times out of turn one on that lap. So, but yeah, we'll see in the pits now. I was flicking between the inters and the wets, and they were slowly gaining time. So I thought I'd got quite early on the inters to get used to them and see what they're like. But as you'll see, we're 2 seconds down that first lap, so they're definitely not quite up to speed yet. But obviously, I knew they'd come to me eventually, so I just carried on with them as you went very deep into turn one there because the inters are just not working at the moment. But yeah, as I said, they should come towards us further into the session we go. And you can see we're only 2 times down now, so we're about at that point where the inters will be faster. So we're going to go into the pits. We've just about got enough time to come in, get a new set of tyres and go back out again. So that is the plan, and we'll get one final run. But as you can see, we're going to go out now, and it's doing that stupid thing where it wants you to change back onto the wets and the inters and whatever it does, which sort of caught me out a bit, and I ended up switching back the tyres. And basically, as you're about to see, we did not get enough time to actually do a run, so which means our qualifying time is effectively our second run on the wets at the start, which is obviously going to be absolutely miles off. We come out the pit lane now, and you'll see on the timer in the top right 1 minute 13, and the lap is 1 minute 13, so there's no chance we're going to get around. And unfortunately, that is going to mean, as you'll see in a minute, we are last on the grid for this race, and with everyone having fresh tyres, because obviously it was wet qualifying, we aren't going to have an advantage with the alternate strats, so it's going to be very difficult to get points, really, if I'm going to be honest. But we'll see what happens. We're going to skip straight on to start the race now for the 5 lights to come on. We're starting on the medium tyres. Petruk's in front on the hard, so hopefully we can get a better start than him as the lights go out now. It's a fairly decent start, fairly matched to everyone around us. We're going to go to the outside and see if we can gain any sort of positions. We do get past the AlphaTauri and RGK Simo, who got a bit squirmy on into turn one, but got inside of Coutinho and the Ferrari and Aero. We're going to try and see if we can get the inside of Aero because he's on the hards here. We're going really deep, and yeah, that was a big mistake on my part. Obviously everyone brakes really early into there, but I thought, braking just before the 100 I could get slowed down, but apparently not. And that pretty much, I was saying into this corner here, I'm just going to retire because there's no point in continuing. The odds on the safety car is very low and everything, so. But as you'll see, we come into the pits and we do carry on. So we're going to chuck on a set of softs because I didn't think the hards would be very nice, so we're definitely going to just lose out. So put us at softs. We're going to do soft, medium pretty much, but obviously we're absolutely miles behind, so without a safety car, we're going to struggle to gain any more positions. We've got Dario in front of us, who I think also has been involved in an incident, but you'll see when we come out of the pit lane, we're about 3 seconds or so behind him. So, I mean, the only thing we've got for us this race is obviously trying to have a battle with Dario and trying to catch him with E14, unless there's any incidents or safety cars. So yeah, the 3 second gap on lap 2, and we're going to skip now right on into the race to lap 12, and we do actually catch Dario. So the pace was decent, and I think we're going to pass him down this straight. But as you'll see on the left hand side with the new penalty feature, a lot of people in this race had penalties, so I thought in the off chance there is a safety car, we could do very well. I'm going to go up the inside of Dario here, and I don't think he fought it too hard because I was definitely quicker at this point. But yeah, there are a lot of people that have penalties, and if there's a safety car, obviously, you don't even need to overtake them. You can just sit behind and gain them as you cross the line. So that was one hope, but again, I wasn't optimistic on it actually happening. On to lap 15 now, and these softs are pretty much done, as you'll see, in the 60s. So we're going to pit for mediums and take them to the end, which we will do here, and try and undercut Dario and Petrus, who are behind us, so we can pit the DRS and sort of drive away from them. But again, I mean, they are the only two we're fighting at this point. There's no the real hope of catching anyone else because they're pretty effectively a pit stop ahead. But I can assure you it does get a bit more exciting than this. These aren't just the highlights, so this is sort of the backstory of getting into it. But we come out of the pit lane. Yeah, not much more to say over them. A long way behind and battling with Dario and Petrucci. Both have penalties, so we should beat them anyway. And indeed, we come out on lap 17 now, and we have Dario who's come out of the pits. He does actually stay within a DRS, so fair play to him. But again, it's pretty much status quo in P14 and 15 at the moment. So we will now hopefully get to the bit where it gets a bit more exciting. Let's give us to lap 21, and Liam bins it in, and you'll hear in a minute. Yes! Yes! Great drive! Great drive! Yes! Let's go! Yeah! Oh, I'm gonna win now. I've got no penalties. Yeah, we get very excited pretty much because it's completely saved our race, and hopefully now, as I said, with everyone's penalties, we can maybe move forward slightly. I mean, we don't even need to move forward, to be fair, but I think at this point I was pretty sure I had a good chance of getting solid points. I thought, even though we're at the back and a long way behind with the safety car, we could probably get top 5, gain a few positions, and then obviously you can see on the left, I mean, some people 11 seconds, 6 seconds, 9 seconds. We have nothing at the moment, so that is our aim. We do have 2 warnings though, so it's going to be very difficult to not get a penalty, especially with the track limits on this track. But here we go then, on lap 24, restart, and we had an amazing restart, to be honest. It's very dodgy with those last 2 corners in Austria. It always seems to concertina up, but we've maintained position, so that's good. And next up the road is Sam Gamer, so we're going to try and see what we can do and if we can make any sort of moves forward in this race. Sam Gamer looking to the inside of surface. We're going to get a fairly decent exit here, and I think we're going to put it into overtake. Yeah, we are. And try and make a move on Sam Gamer around the outside. Can we make this move stick? It's going to be difficult to do on the outside. He breaks very late and keeps a position, so that's fair play to him. And we will sit behind and try again when we can. 27 now, and I think up the road you'll see Caden getting into some trouble with someone. I think it was Lee Finley, and Surface has to take avoiding action. So that is 2 positions forward. It's up to P10 now. So again, still sat behind Sam Gamer. But you should see, he lost a slight bit of time with that incident, so he's just about hanging on to the DRS. Let's go up until lap 28, and then lap 29. And we've got Lee Finley here, who stayed out on the mediums after during the safety car, and is slowly getting absolutely minced by the field as we get a run on the inside. Obviously on the soft tyres, we're going to have so much more grip than he does, and indeed we do. Up into P9 now. As long as we get this move done, he doesn't stick it around the outside. At least he tries to, but with our superior grip, obviously, he's not going to manage to do that. So it's P9. As you can see, a big tree in front of us, and from what I could tell, there was only 1 or 2 people that also didn't have a penalty. So as long as this train stayed together, I thought we had a very good chance, as I said, of a top 5. But on lap 30, we get a good run on Sam Game. We're going to get outside here. He once again breaks very late, but he breaks a bit too late that time. We do sort of switch back underneath him. And that is the position for us. So P8 now. And Simo in front 9 seconds, Suko 3 seconds on the mediums. So again, this should be another 2, effectively 3 positions come the end of the race due to the penalties. But we are not done there. Lap 31, behind Simo, as you're about to see here, he makes a slight mistake about now, gets on that curb, loses it, and decides he wants to give us that position. So that's nice. Up into P7, and it's Suko next on the medium tyres, who should be pretty easy to overtake because obviously he's on the much older tyres, and I think he does have DRS at this point, but I'm pretty sure come the next lap he does not have a DRS. And there we go on lap 32 now, into overtake and a DRS, and this should be a fairly easy move around the outside, bit of overtake, and that is P6 for us to take. 32 then, so we've got 4 laps remaining to try and pass this Ferrari, which I think is as far up as we probably will be able to get. We've got 2.7 seconds to the sort of lead pack of Aero, Yoan, Domi, and then you got Blizzard a bit further up the road. But they all have penalties except Domi, I believe. So if we can sort of gain on these front runners, as you can see, the gap has actually come down quite a lot. If we can gain on these front runners, then we do have a chance potentially of a podium. I was thinking at this point, but yeah, we've caught on this Ferrari pretty well. I think I was driving quite well at this point, not using any overtake because we're just going to use the DRS to catch up here and then hopefully pass him down this next straight. Braking nice and late, trying to set up the exit nicely, which indeed we do. Into overtake, DRS, and this should once again be a fairly simple move. He doesn't even defend it. We got the inside, braking at the 100-meter board, down into turn 4. And that is that. So P5 now, and within these 3 laps I'm pretty sure I was not going to catch the 2-second gap, and indeed didn't. It stayed pretty much around 2 seconds. So we will come across the line as long as we make the last 2 corners without a penalty in P5 then. A crazy good recovery drive considering we were 30 seconds behind on lap 2. But we're going to come across the line now and actually bumps us up into P2 with everyone's penalties in front of us, which is absolutely crazy. Yeah, as I said, from being 30 seconds behind on lap 2 to P2 is very good driver of the day from the game, which is nice. But the only thing is, I think AOR will get his 5 seconds for a collision remove, so it might be P3. But either way, keeping it clean was the way to do it. And indeed, you get P2 in the end. So very, very happy with that, of course, after the damage, which was a letdown. But yeah, P2, another podium. So we have 3 podiums now. Not quite a win yet, but hopefully that will come at some point. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the highlights, and hopefully we have some more exciting races for some more highlights. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.